Welcome to On the Couch, a regular catch-up where we talk about the issues facing marketing, media and advertising and hopefully come up with some solutions. Today I'm joined by agency client relationship expert Anita Zanesco from Trinity P3. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you, Darren.
Thanks for joining me on the couch.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
You've got quite a lot of industry experience. You've worked in advertising. You've worked with many advertisers and clients. But the last few years at Trinity P3, you've really been involved in looking at those relationships, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Yeah. What is it, do you think, when you look across all the relationships that you've been involved in, what is it that makes great client-agency relationships?
Look, it is interesting because I spent a lot of years being on the agency side trying to foster those amazing relationships myself with clients. And actually the 5 or 6 years I've been with Trinity P3 has been fascinating because I'm almost a fly on the wall and I can actually look at both sides. I think from a marketer's perspective, what makes a really good relationship with their agencies is marketers that sort of from the get-go involve their agencies in their business. Mm-hmm. And work with them as partners rather than suppliers. Where I see it all comes crashing down is when marketers just view their agencies as yet another supplier and treat them as such. Marketers that actually get to know an agency process and the way that the creative process in particular works, those relationships tend to be more successl.
Because it's interesting, we see marketers now, instead of having 1 or 2 agencies, some of them have got 10, 20 agencies, and then they're complaining about that the agencies won't work or collaborate together. What advice do you have for them?
The first bit of advice, and there'll be a common theme across anything when you're talking about relationships, is to talk to their agencies, actually sit their agencies down. Marketers that are very clear up front in defining roles and responsibilities of those agencies on the roster tend to foster the best working relationships. Agencies need to understand what their boundaries are and what the parameters are and the expectations that a marketer have of that relationship. If marketers aren't clear up front, the agencies aren't just going to naturally get along with each other, because if they see another slice of pie that could be theirs, they're going to want to take it. So I think it's really, the onus is on the marketer up front to establish those roles and responsibilities and make sure that the agencies understand them.
Because that competitive tension between agencies is not necessarily a good thing, no matter what some marketers might say. Competing for budget.
Yes, no, competing for budget isn't. A bit of competitive tension actually can always make an individual or a team maybe strive harder, but certainly no. Fighting for budget, that's just playground stuff. Agencies shouldn't be doing that, and I think marketers need to be very firm in terms of making agencies understand what their roles, what the expectations are, and what the implications will be if they don't play nice.
Because there's a lot of focus. I mean, everyone talks about, have a good relationship, but it actually takes more than just a relationship to have a high-performing team, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, any of the Trinity P3 services that we get engaged in, whether it's agency search and selection or a roster alignment or the offshoot evaluating tool, always looks at more than just agencies and marketers that are in love. You can be totally in love with each other, but if an agency and a client are not strategically and creatively aligned, and if the processes in place are not actually delivering work effectively and efficiently, then no matter how much they absolutely love each other, that relationship will break down, because that's what business sense will demand. Because at the end of the day, it is a business relationship. It's not a personal relationship.
Absolutely. And that you've touched on there. We see a lot of marketers who are really struggling with relationships, but they're hesitant to bring in an independent third party.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the benefit of bringing in that third party?
The benefit's the same as, even if you throw it back to a personal relationship, the benefit of any kind of counselling or guidance is having a third party who is completely objective. There isn't, what a third party and what an independent consultant does is remove the emotion out of a situation. It allows individuals or teams to talk openly about contentious issues that might otherwise be very, very hard and very confrontational if they were dealing with the involved individual or teams. So an independent consultant can come in, can listen, debate, discuss, and actually delve deeper into the situations to actually work out where the source of the conflict or the issue is, and then offer solutions that are completely objective. There is nothing in it for an independent consultant as to how a situation is resolved. They just want the best result so that, business can resume.
If there's an advertiser out there that's struggling with either an agency or their roster of agencies, what advice would you give them, beyond obviously giving you a call? But what advice where's the starting point in solving those problems?
The starting point with any relationship issue is to sit down and talk to the parties involved. And when I say talk, don't skirt around the issues. Be completely transparent as to what the issues are and what you think are causing the issues. If it's a problem with one agency in particular, that's an easier conversation. If the issue is sort of a roster situation, it does become quite difficult. You're talking about multiple parties, then you need to resolve. And I do think then, going back to your earlier point, bringing in an independent consultant can actually help, because you are actually bringing in someone to manage multiple issues, and there could actually be underlying issues that are actually driving the initial conflict in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and an independent party is more likely to spot those underlying issues than someone who's actually involved in the situation, stuck in the middle of it.
Thanks, Anita. That's great.
You're welcome.
And thanks for joining us on The Couch. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more On The Couch coming soon. Thank you.